Welcome. It is day three. Day three, you all. We are on our way. Thank you for continuing the journey and coming back, y'all. So, day three of the Calm Over Chaos Challenge. All right. Yes, what is today's challenge? I will put it up on the screen for you. Today's challenge is to have at least 5 minutes of silence. Now, 5 minutes doesn't seem very long, but when you add silence to it, it can seem like an eternity. So, I just want to give you all a couple of tips. And honestly, I love how this day fell after yesterday's day when we were talking about Romans 12:1, because if you read or read in my YouVersion devotional, I immediately talked about how when I started implementing moments of silence in my time with God, everything else kept popping up in my mind. And my habit or my tendency was to try to push it out so I could focus on God. And God is like, no, bring it on in. That's what this time is for. And so I want to challenge you to incorporate what we talked about yesterday while you're trying to take your 5 minutes of silence. So, whatever pops into your mind, write it down, bring it before God. And for every, if it's a negative thought, use that as an opportunity to dig into his word and find the truth that corresponds to whatever lie the devil is trying to put before you. Okay. If it is a negative emotion, find a scripture that speaks contrary to that, and give you a word of encouragement during that time. If it's a task, if it's a problem, if it's a challenge, journal about it. Pour out your heart before God and ask him to help you through that. Okay. So use the tool that we gave in yesterday's day challenge, if you will, of Romans 12:1 as you're trying to take your 5 minutes of silence. Okay. Now, I will say this, a couple of tips, especially if you're new to incorporating silence in your day. All right. You know you better than anyone else. You know your schedule better than anyone else. You know your circumstances better than anyone else. So really think about a time of day that is actually feasible, that's actually practical for this to happen. Okay. If it has to be early in the morning before the kids wake up, if you're a night owl and it has to be late at night, then take whatever or find whatever time of day. If it's during your lunch break, if you need to take some time in your car before you walk into the office, whatever time of day that you feel works best for you, find that time, identify it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, put it on your calendar. Put it on your calendar. All right. Like if it's 15 minutes, and of course, we're talking about 5 minutes here, but you may have to block out 15 minutes in order to get to where you need to get, and then in order to get from wherever you end up going in order to get into the rest of your day. But all I'm saying is put that buffer in there. If you need to block out a 15-minute window on your day so that you can have this 5 minutes of silence, then do it. Find it, okay? And just literally lay before God. Lay in his presence, okay? And whatever comes to the surface, write it down, bring it to him, lay it at his feet, okay? And really, I would say in those moments as well, those moments of waiting, that's when we hear God the most. So be open to hearing God. We hear God in so many different ways. It could be through his word, definitely first and foremost, but it literally could be that still small voice. It could be that audible voice that you hear. It could be through friends and family, where you're like, oh, I just laid that before God and someone just came and gave me a solution or encouragement about it. So I say, be open to hearing God, okay, during these 5 minutes of silence, okay? So y'all, we can do this, all right? I encourage you to take the time, to find the time and enjoy it, relish it, revel in it, savor it, because the more that this becomes a habit, the more you're able to increase that amount of time in silence, okay? So Happy day 3. Let me know how it goes. Feel free to put the comments in the chat, and I will see y'all tomorrow. All right.